If artificial intelligence took over the world tomorrow, factories wouldn't be using conveyors or inserters. They'd be using bots, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, checking out Desynced, which has just been released to early access. And wow, this game hits differently, throwing some great punches in the automation space, bringing with it from day one logic. This RTS factory automation game will cross your wires if you don't have your programming cap on, and do watch out for the bugs. So let's start a new world. Also, a shout out does go to Forklift for sponsoring this video, and if you like the game, do check out the link to the Steam page below. And here we are. So we have landed on the planet, and the general premise is that we've woken up as the commander from stasis and the mothership has been damaged. And so they've sent down these robots to help us repair the ship. And the interesting thing about this game is that it's all done with programming rather than the normal logistics with factory games, such as using conveyor belts or inserters. And we have a few resources here. We have metal ore and crystal chunks littered nearby. We may even find here a little bit of silica, but there are other resources as well as various ruins to explore which feed into the story. So we're going to start off first by building our little command center. We're going to deploy the base here because it's rather flat. It's quite bumpy actually. That's not too bad. But we've got plenty of room to expand in this direction for our factory, and then we can also expand either side for the resources. And we have our scouts here. Two of them are armed with mining lasers, and if we click on the metal ore, they will start to harvest them. However, without programming, as soon as this has run out, this machine will stop running. So what we actually need to do, for example, is pick the item that we want it to collect, turn it up to infinite, and then drag this across to here. And this allows it to see metal resources and then harvest them. And then we can choose where we want these resources stored. And we can drag this across to here, but we're going to actually build in a little bit, with a little bit of luck, one of these small storage blocks. We are going to need to get a fabricator on the go, and we can drag this module onto a module slot like here. And now this will allow us to produce resources. What I find really fascinating about this game is that everything is modular, and this can really change the way that you build. You can build temporary factories and from there produce whatever you want, and then you can change them out to something else. Other things that you can do is, if you look at these bots, they also have these module slots on top of them. So as you can see, these have lasers, but there's no reason why you couldn't, for example, put this laser, this turret, on top of this, there we go, scout. And now the scout is, I guess you could say, a light tank. One thing that really stands out to me in this game is the art style. It reminds me very much of Dyson Sphere, and I think partially what makes it look so great is its use of focus. You can see that we've got a very shallow depth of field, which means certain parts of your factory really pop when you're looking at it, whereas others are blurred out. I love it. But having laid down the foundations, we're ready to do some automation. So what we have here is a small building. It has a single small module slot. You can see in the build section here. It also has 4 slots here. These are for your storage. This is really important, and something that I found held me back whilst I was playing the game recently, because I didn't have enough storage slots in order to build what I wanted to build, and so everything froze up. But if we click on here, we can now produce, rather than these metal bars, I'm going to say iron bars, I'm going to say iron sheets, iron plates as well. I shouldn't get them confused. But you can see we can also build some fabricators. We'll build 4 really quickly. And from here, we can drag these buildings onto our foundations. Perfect. The next thing that I want to do is also get down a medium component. This is the assembler, and we can build, or we can use 2 at the moment because our base here has 2 medium slots available. However, if we want any more available, we're going to have to go to the tech tree. We'll get to that shortly. Now that we have our assemblers produced, we can move them over to the command center here. And from here, we can now start building more complex stuff. We have the circuit boards, which are going to be important to get automated soon. And we also have worker bots. You can see they need circuit boards, which is why we should be focusing this. And we can also build an uplink. This is also very important because this is what allows us to do research. We have now produced our first worker. It's going to be a bit slower than the scout bots, but we're also working on producing our lasers as well. We're going to be able to add these to our workers, and they're now going to be working, producing the resources that we need. Now that we've got a good few bots working for us, I've replaced the assembler with this antenna, this uplink. What this does is unlock the research tree for us, and we've already got started on basic, which is this one here. You can see the progress, but we've also scheduled basic signals and basic power. I want to get through all of these, and there's quite a lot to get through, so that we can get to the advanced research, because all of this, if I remember rightly, was available in the demo. But because that's going to take a lot of time and we want to cover that in this episode, I am going to skip ahead a lot. The next thing for me to do is really to double up, triple even the amount of bots that we have, and we're also going to set up circuit boards and hopefully get some more automation on the go as well. The one thing that I will mention with this game is that it does seem to be slower to really take off, and I think that's because there's so much going on and you need so many resources. But please do not let that put you off. This is an awesome game, and I really like how they've approached this with modules and programming, which we'll talk about in a moment. I should mention, with this coming to early access, the team also have 5 updates planned with various new features and improvements for the game, as you can see by this roadmap here, and it'll be certainly really interesting to see what else is coming, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the combat update myself. As you can see, our factory has started to grow. With a little bit of organization, we've now got it so that we're producing circuit boards, reinforced plates, as well as smelters and lasers. I'm also working on a new project here. So this particular building, it's 2 medium slots. What I plan to do is move all of my research over there. I've also done a lot of exploration, as you can see, and the great thing about this world is it's unlimited. It just keeps on going, and thankfully in this area we have a huge amount of metal ore ready for us to harvest, because we're going to need a lot when we're producing some of the things like energy plating. And if you're wondering what this place is, this is Blight. We don't want to be here anytime soon, but it does have a few resources that perhaps we'll like to get as well as some perils. And speaking of perils, there are monsters in this game that will attack you and sometimes even raid your base at more difficult levels. The most that I've found so far are on these plateaus here. You can see just over there, we have these silicon deposits, which we're going to need pretty soon actually, but that is where the enemies will be. So we're going to have to also build a military force as well. But before we do any of that, we're going to grab our scout and we're going to do some exploration. So we have all of these little ruins scattered about that we can explore. Oh, this is just granted. It's got cable for us, and it's also got some reinforced plate. That's pretty good. We're going to need them later. Let's also explore this one. This one requires us to connect a circuit up. This particular one I really struggle with. I don't know how it works, but we need to try and get them all to be blue. There we are, finally. So with that, we did unlock a signal reader. And if we grab some circuit boards, which I think we have available, we can unlock this for some more stuff. Oh, wow. This is one of the more complicated ones, but we'll make our way through it without too much problem, hopefully. There we are. Oh, took me longer than I thought it would. You can see we're having a little bit of a throughput issue here. There are two problems with it. Firstly, my roads just aren't wide enough to cope with the traffic. And the second one is a problem with the pathing from the robots. As you can see, they're all in one location and can't get to either the storage or the metal. And I've kind of sorted that by splitting off my robots into two other areas as well, but I have been reassured that this has been fixed in the most recent update, so you shouldn't have a problem with it. And it looks like if we go to the research tab, you can see this is really quick. As soon as this is unlocked, we'll be building some of these medium turrets, because I'm a little bit concerned that we'll be attacked. So that will defend this area from hopefully any enemies, so that we can start harvesting the silica so that we can move on to the next technology. I totally forgot to mention this. We also had a power problem and everything was running at rather low efficiency. So we've started adding a lot of solar farms, which is initially a lot of investment in the crystals, but so that the crystals aren't being wasted on power production. I've also put them on all of our transport bots, which is really cool that we can use our transport bots for something other than just transportation of resources. With our silica energized plating and the circuit boards and various items in production, we are now ready to research the final technology that is in the basics, which is the gateway technology, and allows us to build this re-simulator building, which I think is to do with the story. I don't know, I haven't got there yet. So we are going to have to sort out the wire production next.
A few moments later.
We have now unlocked the gateway technology, which allows us to move on to the advanced technologies. What I find interesting is that there is just so much technology. We're going to, I think, try and unlock the advanced materials for this one. It's going to require quite a lot though, because we need to produce cable and high density frames. So let's get that on the go. The advanced materials actually allow us to unlock our first tier 1, let's say, large building slot. So I'm looking forward to that. Also refined crystal. Interesting. So let's start producing the high-tech material. For that, we're going to need not the wire, but cable. And in order to produce the cable, we're going to need some refineries, because the refineries are what's going to produce the cable, I believe. So we'll get 4 of them on the go. I'm trying to keep 2 spaces between all of my sections of building, because it makes it so much smoother when you're doing your logistics. There's quite often various bottlenecks along these single lines, so I find having a double line really does help with that. We seem to be doing pretty well with the production. We're over halfway with the advanced materials. We had a little bottleneck with the cable production with the wire, so I added a load more wire smelters, and the reason for this is that they only produce 1 every 16 seconds. So here was me thinking, it's taking forever, what are we running out of? But no, it was just the production speed. So we're now producing 12 wire every 16 seconds. We could probably increase that, actually, thinking about it. We're also producing our high density frames, which are being sent straight over here to be turned into research. And after that, we obviously have access to all the new stuff. While this is all happening, I'm also going to start preparing some robots over here for war. We're going to clear one of the plateaus to make sure that we have no enemies nearby. I wonder if there's one that, medium sockets. We could use these to have medium turret weapons. We've almost finished researching the advanced materials, so hopefully soon that'll be done. But we also have our little army here. We're going to just send them all the way to the top of the plateau here. And here they come. Oh, they're actually already under attack. Oh, there's quite a few. Take out the big ones. We seem to be all right. We're not taking too much damage, but we do need to take out this bug hive really quickly, as it looks like it's spawning them. Oh, and there's another one here. Ooh, what's that? A small bot. Oh, what's happened here? There's an infection. We should be careful not to get infected. Oh no, are all of our robots infected? Oh no, no, what is happening? What is happening here? None of them are working. Get out! Oh dear. Well, it looks like our army was obliterated between bugs and a virus. Now our factory is getting pretty big and we've unlocked the advanced materials. There are so many more technologies to unlock. We could go for advanced logistics now. I wonder if we have any robots later on, bigger robots. I'm sure there are. Oh, like this. What's that one? Rock. Slow moving, but mounts a large component. An exceptional inventory space. So that would be fantastic for transporting stuff. I don't want to get too far ahead with this because this might be the first of a full Let's Play series. Do let me know, guys, if you do want to see more of it in the comments below. So we are going to leave it there, guys. But if you did enjoy this video, please do hit the thumbs up and do check out Desynced. The link is in the description below. Special thanks, of course, does go to Desynced or Forklift for sponsoring this video, as well as all of our amazing supporters over on Patreon. Notably our Solo-Clips patrons, James Owen, Firefless, and Trebor, as well as our Lunas, the Calamity, Ben, Star, Shoku, the MN Wolf, and that dude AW, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is the City Rat. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.